Hi everyone, it's Kim. Thanks for joining me. I am excited to share with you today a new collection from Spellbinders called Say Cheese Classic Mouse. And that stars two characters which we know very well. And this is Mickey and Minnie Mouse, but it is the Steamboat Willie version of Mickey and Minnie Mouse. Steamboat Willie was a animated film in 1928, and these two characters became part of the public domain on January 1st of 24. So I want to show you the characters and kind of some of the different parts, how we can play with them. Let me show you the dies first because I did use all the dies that I have to make this. And then I'll show you some samples because that was where I really had a lot of fun. So the dies in this collection, the first one is the Steamboat Willie Duo, and it's done in black and white and gray tones, which I thought was very interesting. And there may be a reason that they did that. I don't know for sure, but I thought that was kind of fascinating. And then three other dies are the flags and banners. We'll take a look at how we can incorporate that with these two. Frame and sentiments, and the classic mouse borders. Now, there's also an alphabet and a number set here. I'm going to show you in the catalog, and I don't have those, but this is the classic mouse alphabet and the classic mouse numbers and punctuation. And the catalog also has some samples. So if you want to see any of these close up, get on Spellbinder's website and you can see all of these samples close up. There's also a better press plate that goes along with this collection. And this was done in conjunction with Simple Stories. So if you also get on the website, there is a stamp set coming out. So I'm waiting for this to come in. And there is a ton of paper and ephemera, stickers, anything you could imagine that is from Simple Stories, but you can purchase it through Spellbinder's website. So get on there if you are a Mickey and Minnie fan and check out everything that is available. So I want to go back and just look at this a little bit since we've looked at the die. So on the front cover, I used the flags and banners die set here. And I love all the little details that are on these banners. And then I also used the classic mouse borders. And the other thing that's kind of neat about the borders is save all these dropout pieces. These you really can't do anything that easily with, but the anchors and the musical notes, we could definitely use those. And I even saved out all the letters that fell out. I don't know if I'll ever really use those, but I thought I can always throw them out later if I decide I'm not going to use them. And then on the back side, I used some more of the dies from the flags and banners. So these like little pinwheels, which I love how those are put together. We'll take a look at that because there's just two dies. Instead of like folding them up, there's just two dies. So there's a pointed edge one and a curved edge one. But simple way to make a pinwheel. And then the swell comes from the frame and sentiments, as well as the stars. So I just kind of layered some of those up. So that was fun just to kind of have this as a book I can refer back to for some ideas. Now, on the inside, I was fascinated that Mickey and Minnie were done in gray tones. So I thought I'm going to do that, put it on a colorful background. But I wanted to play with the hands because I'm always looking, how can I change this? How can I get even more positions out of the dies that are provided? So there are, if we look at this, it says 3 different arm poses for each character. So there are these 3 different poses, 3 for Mickey, 3 for Minnie, and then like this one is reversed for Minnie if you were to put it on her body because she's looking left while Mickey is looking right. But I wanted to play with that, and that's kind of what I did here. So let me just show you this first arm position here, which we see on Minnie, and it works the same way on Mickey. But I decided, what if I want Mickey to be waving? So I cut this So you can see there is one hand, and this matches the other hand. So I just cut that and glued it behind his head. So know when you get these, if you want to mix them up, you can certainly do that. Minnie here is the same. I didn't do anything with that die. Here is the same die, except on Mickey, it's the opposite one made for him. And then over here on Minnie, again, I took two different die. So this time I have basically this die I cut off and used on this side of her body. And then I took the die that looks like this, that kind of has like a more of a fist, cut that off and placed it on this side. So I've used these two arm positions, cut them apart, and use them for Minnie. So just know that you can do that, change some things around, and I'll show you a couple other things that I played with on Mickey. But let's take a look at how we can use these in some cards. And again, if you're a scrapbooker, this will have some great opportunities for you to make some beautiful pages. And definitely check out the paper that's available online. So here is Mickey. I did this one again in the gray tones and very simple, no ink. Something highly unusual for me, but I was able to combine a few different things. So I've got Mickey, and we've got the borders here. I've used two of the borders, the ship wheel and then this other little just decorative border. And when I checked out Steamboat Willie online, there was a picture that I saw over and over where Mickey is facing a wheel. And I didn't have the wheel that they use, so I just pulled out something from my stash. I pulled the wheel out of Cruise Charms from Karen Burniston. It was the right size for this. And the other thing that I did is, if we look here, Mickey is really facing to the right. But what I decided to do is I want him to face the wheel, and I could have put the wheel over on the right side, but in the picture that I saw over and over online, the wheel is on the left side of his body. So I thought, how could I do that if I don't have his body? I could die cut his body out, flip it over, use a bone folder and smooth it out. But the other thing is, this is Minnie's head. So if I take off her eyelashes and her hat, these two heads are basically identical. So I can use her head on his body, and now it looks like he's just looking to the left. So there's another thing that we can do. Change their heads. I can't use the hat on this head. It would be backwards, but I don't have to use the hat. So there's a way to make him look to the right and to the left using his own body. And now I also wanted to do one where I had more color for a grayscale body. So this time I used the ring from the Frames and Sentiments. This is Oh Boy. And I could stick Mickey in there. And then here's the dropout piece from the border. So I did save all these dropout pieces. So he's got a little anchor there, and just put him on a colorful background. So if you still want to use the gray tones and just put more color into it versus just kind of a black and white look, very, very simple to do. And of course, we don't want to leave Minnie out. So this time I added more color to Minnie's hat and the flower. So their face is always black and white, but I gave her a red tongue and then made the frame. This time it's Golly, a colorful one, and I just put it on the tag. Let's see here. So we've got Oh Boy, Golly, Swell, and Well Hello there for our frames. So if you want to add color to either the character or the background, super simple to do. I kind of use these same colors over and over, but you could use any colors that you want. So I wanted to make a more colorful Mickey, more maybe what we think of as a modern day Mickey. And the Best Day Ever is from the Flags and Banner set. And I just, I love black and red together. I did use the hat and add a little gray there, but the yellow background, again, I just used the same colors kind of over and over. but certainly feel free to expand out. Now, I do have to mention that when I put all these together, I put a bunch of them together, and at the very end, when I was looking at the dies, and you can see there's a lot of dies, I'm like, I wonder what these are for. That's their tail. So I almost had all mine completed without any tails. So if you forget the tail, they still look good, but I die cut a bunch of tails and went back then and finished them off. I also wanted to use Mickey and Minnie together. And I'm trying to think of different occasions than just a maybe trip to Disneyland or Disney World that I could use these two characters for. So this time they are clinking their glasses together, and they're the more colorful version. I wanted some glasses, and I went back to, again, Karen Burniston, because I knew I had some here. I pulled out the wedding charms. I wasn't sure if these would be too big, but I think that they work. And then I also, if I didn't have this one, there's wine charms. So if you want more of a wine glass, you could do that and put them in their little hands so you can see their opposing hands here. And they do have that little thumb cut out, which is kind of nice. And then I used two of the borders, and up here is where the dropout pieces for the border. And I haven't put many sentiments on these because I'm thinking some of these I could use for different occasions. This could be a congratulatory card, whether it be for a birthday, maybe, a wedding, whatever. I could modify these guys a little bit, maybe add a veil to Minnie's hat, or modify that to make her look more like a bride. So again, I'm thinking, how else can I use these two characters? I've got Minnie again using one of the frames, but this time she's holding it instead of being inside of the frame here. And this time, like the frame, I just did her head or the body. And if you wanted, you could just do Mickey or Minnie in the frame without any feet showing. So again, just some different ways to use the different pieces together. And I stacked up that star on top of the pinwheel. That is from the Flags and Banner set. So however you want to combine them, there's a lot of different ways, whether we do black and white or colorful Mickey and Minnie. And maybe we want to just use some of these pieces without the characters. We can do that as well. So the best day ever, this could be for a number of different occasions, using those pinwheels and the banners, and definitely not my traditional Mickey and Minnie colors that I'm using here. So something totally, totally different. So I think there's a lot that we can do with this set for different occasions. It's just fun to have Mickey and Minnie in our die set collection now, and some other pieces that we can use with them or use without them. So if you are a Mickey and Minnie fan, you definitely get online to Spellbinders, paperarts.com. Check out everything that's available with this collection, because there is a lot. And, for me, I'm kind of reliving the old childhood when I play with these, but I think I can use these for a number of different occasions for adults as well as kids. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you again in a future video.